contact is really, it's really connected not just to us as individuals, as a human contact team, but it's also connected to the mass consciousness of our planet. Our collective consciousness is also in this process of its own self-disclosure, if you will. It's a spectrum of experience, and that actually we're being prepared through this shift in consciousness through time. So now that it's been 30 years for me, or more than 30 years of doing this kind of work, I'm starting to see that connection, and everything is accelerating. What happens as we begin to open our awareness to more expanded levels of consciousness and interdimensionality, we hit that band, that pain-fear band. Therefore, if we journey within ourselves spiritually, we learn to break through that pain and fear band, healing ourselves, and then we're able to go into the more refined and truer levels of contact that don't have the mask, which is a reflection of our own fears. They understand our process of evolution, and the ETs don't want to land and trigger us. And then we project our own pain and fear onto them, and then it just spirals.
What I find with Lyssa's work is that it's ET contact meets spirituality and expansion of consciousness. And I love what I see with the progression of these retreats is that the evolution of where we're headed as a species, as humans, it's so nice to get information, not only on kind of what an ET perspective is on what's going on, but absolute confirmation of what I'm seeing happening in my alignment with my work.
Very relatable style. She's so down to earth. She's so easy to relate to. She's the opposite of woo-woo, which is not what you expect when you think about someone channeling aliens.
She brings through several channels, which is really great for helping us understand what it is we're doing and guide us through this process.
That group energy and everybody supporting each other, and it's kind of like people that first traverse the jungles. It's like you're part of the forward motion of change. Pioneers, there you go.
I'm humbled. I'm just humbled. This contact work it's life transforming. It's a way to clean out yourself in certain respects and become a better person. And you take that to the everyday world, which is amazing. Who would have thought contact work would bring you out and just bring the best of who you can be?
There's something magical right now that's happening, and to have somebody who can lead us through this at a really profound time, to have very positive experiences, to be reminded that there's love, to be reminded we're not alone.
Everybody comes together, works together, shares their gift. I always leave lighter, brighter, a clearer direction. I always feel like I get a roadmap.
It's such a great combination of doing inner work, which is probably the most important thing in all of this, but also having little bits of validation from the outside, and also connecting to all the other people. And everybody is on the same wavelength, which is a really high frequency wavelength, which is what makes it so wonderful.
That the cohesion that everybody brings every year seems to escalate. So the first year was at this level, the next year is there. This year was off the charts.
It's information that I can take and proceed in my life and continue on my awakening path in a beautiful and profound way.
And immediately we had all these phenomena happen. So there were all these sparks in the sky that was really cool, but even more impressive than that were these orange orbs that appeared. And it happened, I think, 5 times, so it wasn't a one-time thing. And nobody had expectations, which makes it, maybe even that's why it happened. And you would see one orange orb and dimming out and brightening, and another showing up. And I think the coolest sighting that we had was that Lyssa took a video. And later in the dining room, she was looking at the video and she's like, oh, it's all black. And she almost deleted it. And what she didn't realize, and eventually we saw that in the middle of the video, the all black video, all of a sudden at the corner of the video, a triangle appeared. And it was a craft. And you could see the 3 lights and some bars.
That it's becoming more and more visceral, more and more physical, like more real. So less like trying to think it's just in your imagination, and there's actually physical manifestations and experiences that make it seem much more solid and physical.
But when we do contact work in a group energy, we can get into those altered states where we become more sensitive of other dimensions of ourselves.
Just amazing. We did have visceral experiences, which is what a lot of people obviously want validation, but the internal messages that Hamon and that Sasha brought in, and how it affected everybody here is just amazing.
It's a chance for us to know the other part of ourselves better, so that we can integrate them and eventually merge back to source, so that we're not separated, so that we are more expanded, so that our consciousness is more expanded and wider, so that our ego has less effect on us, so that we're not like driven by our ego, but by a universal consciousness.
So there's a perception of extraterrestrials being advanced or more, spiritual, but in reality we're really equal to each other, and that's the most important thing. Do we have to have that mindset, that understanding, in order to be able to have the ability to meet them eventually face to face?
More important in the inside than the outside, because the outside you maybe see a craft, but you cannot communicate with it, so you still don't understand a message from them. But when you connect inside, even if you don't see a craft, you may be getting a download, you may be getting a message, and you can understand the message they are trying to bring, and it allows you to lift up your consciousness one step closer to them so that you can meet them. And when you do that, it shifted your consciousness.
And as we make closer contact with our interstellar brethren, that capacity for love opens up exponentially. And I feel that the human capacity for love is infinite, and experiencing more and more of that. Deeper levels of connection, deeper levels of love, deeper levels of perception of the interdimensional nature of reality. And just because other beings may not be visible to us, it doesn't make them any less real. And the communication that we have with them through these kind of events helps build a solid foundation for the awareness that we can live in love every moment of our existence.
It's not just like, okay, seeing a crowd, seeing lights, but we actually get interaction, and we are able to speak their language in a way through light language. That to me is just amazing.